Yes. Give you a hard time. Oh. Yes. I'm gonna see if I can do one. Alright, we need to log in. I can start with mine. Do you need to log in just on your class or into my entire? I'll tell you how space, man. You don't have any. Now, if you're not doing Milo, that's so much. I'm ready, but after oh my gosh, where's Jordan Farmer? Well, the Farmer music would have been. Jordan, that shirt looks so oh. And his name is Baba Booey. Ozzy, you ready to present? No, I'm cheering you on. What did you see? Will you be mad at me if I make you go world? Okay. I'm excited. All right, let's see. I know. All right, and kiddos, open up their Chromebook. While you're doing that, I'm going to pass out what? Chromebook. Who made the nuclear bomb? In your Chromebook, you go type in Nearpod. All right, now. You want me to pull down the screen and put it up there, or do you? I'm gonna take it. Near. Yeah, like it's just the word near and then pod, but it's just divided. All right, 1, 2, 3, 4. Near as in close, near and then pod as in pod. So we have, is Cheyenne absent? Okay. And then we got Lane. We got 1, 2, 3. Okay, almost everybody. So you will probably see an option that says join or it says you're a student, right? In a second, I'm going to give you a code, and then you're going to enter the lesson, and then we're going to do some fun stuff. Today's lesson is going to be about writing dialogue. Does anyone have experience with doing that? Years. Tell me about it.
We did school projects, obviously. But I also like do writing like just for fun. That's obviously gonna give you practice on that.
That's a great place to get practice. Anybody else? No one else has ever written dialogue?
Like when I'm writing fantasy stories and stuff like that.
Okay. You see that code? You're going to look for a button that says join or says student, and you're going to type that in, okay? Just raise your hand if you have any questions. You might want to put it over. Oh, okay. I see the problem. They're not double-sided. No, that was the original. Some of them. Yeah, that's probably just the original. I tried to put it on the bottom. That one not double-sided? No. Thank you. Right, that's the other. That one. That was the. They're only on one side.
Oh, no.
Everybody typed in the code? Anybody having trouble? So we're all connected now? If you're connected, you should see this screen. Do you see that?
I've not had to type up my middle name in so long.
All right. Ready? Okay. So by the end of the lesson today, we're all going to be able to punctuate written dialogue and write compelling, meaningful dialogue. So to show what we are trying to avoid, I need one brave reader who's going to try to read something a little bit difficult. Does anyone want to volunteer? All right. Can you read that?
Just like
The black part.
I ran up to Sally at her desk. I got to tell you about the crazy day I just had. She looked suspicious of me, but I turned to ask how crazy could it be? Normally, I have a hard time getting up in the morning, but today when I opened my eyes, a bear was standing right in front of me. I saw Sally's jaw drop to the floor. How on earth were you not even alive?
Okay. There's some problems with that, right? Does anybody want to talk about
tiny
what's wrong with this?
There's not very many commas and there's no quotations.
Right. So what does that mean for the reading experience?
It's like you can't tell which one's dialogue and which one she's saying in her head.
Right, right. Anybody else some problems with this? As a reader, does it come off as very clear? Do you know what's happening? No. Yeah.
It's hard to figure out what's happening. You
Right.
can kind of tell. But it's really hard because there's almost zero punctuation.
So your attention goes away from the story and to the way it's written, which is not what we want, right? I need one more brave reader. Not quite as brave. This one should be easier.
I ran up to Sally at her desk. I got to tell you about all the crazy day I just had. I said,
Right, that's type over me.
okay. She looked suspicious of me but turned to listen. How crazy could it be? Sally asked. Normally, I have a hard time getting up in the morning, I began. But today, when I opened my eyes, a bear was standing right in front of me. Sally's jaw dropped to the floor. How on earth can you not eat from the live? She exclaimed.
Okay, so what does this one do differently?
There's like quotations and
Right, right.
It follows the rule where it's like when there's dialogue, one person starts speaking, another starts speaking after starting paragraph. They follow that rule. It's a lot nicer.
Right. So kind of visual looks better.
It emphasizes who is talking more because in the original version, if you look back on slide 3, it doesn't really say who's talking at any given point in time.
Right. So this is a lot more clear.
You can't tell what's happening more until they're having a conversation.
Yeah, before you didn't even know for sure if they were talking. Like you could guess, but you couldn't be certain. All right. So I think this just drives home how important something as minor as just properly punctuating your dialogue can be to making a okay story into a really great story, right? So I'm gonna show you how to do that today. So first off, we're gonna start with some key terms. All right, just so we're all on the same page. And this is where you start filling in the blanks. So just pay attention to that. Okay. Our first word is dialogue, which is speech in written form. Who here has heard that word before? Just ever? Raise your hand.
What word?
Dialogue.
Oh,
Right. So it's a pretty common word.
Can anyone think of a context where they've heard of that before? Writing. Any other context? Theater. That's a good one. Alright. So this is just a bit of a fancier way of saying this is the stuff that we do. Yeah. And then the next word that we need to know for today is dialogue tag. And I'm mostly going to abbreviate it to tag in the lesson, but it is a phrase connected to dialogue that gives context about who is speaking. So he said this, she said that, the dog said, I don't know what the dog is saying, but apparently it's saying something. That's our dialogue tag. All right? Everybody on the same page? Cool. All right. So to get warmed up, we're going to start with some general rules. Somebody mentioned earlier that something that the second version of the story did better was that it had separate paragraphs, right? So each time, if you look at the top here, you want to start a new paragraph each time a person starts speaking or the speaker switches, right? So if we have a conversation between Sally and Mike, Sally starts talking, we want to have a new paragraph for her. And Mike starts talking, we want to have a new paragraph for him. And back and forth and back and forth. If we have a situation where Mike is talking and then something happens in the middle, and then he's the one that continues talking, you generally keep it in the same paragraph, right? And as with normal writing, you want to indent those paragraphs every time, okay? And then the next general rule is you want to wrap quotation marks around any spoken word. I feel like most of you guys already know that, right? Yeah. Something that's a little bit tricky, and you're going to have to remember, is that punctuation on the end always goes inside the quotation marks. We have an example down here. Jerry said, I'm not sure if I should buy a skateboard. If you look down here, the period has to be on the left side, inside the quotation marks. All right? That's just how the grammar works. I don't know if there's an exact reason for it. That's just how it works. All right? Any questions? All right. And now we're going to break into the specific cases, which is on, I think it's on the other side of your paper, the chart that we're going to be looking at soon. But we have a few blanks first. The big things that you need to watch out for are capitalization and comma. Those are the ones that get used. But there are some rules that you can remember to help you figure out how to handle the different situations. So for capitalization, you always need to remember that the spoken words. Yeah. Did I not do you one? I am so sorry. I'll help you fill in the earlier data. All right. The spoken words, the things that people are saying, are given more priority than the tag. So that means, in practice, that the spoken words are always going to be capitalized, and the tags are probably only going to be capitalized if they are starting. Does that make sense? Right. And then number 2, the commas. The way the commas work is they act as a border between the spoken words and the tag. Right? They're kind of, in addition to the quotation marks, a visual way of saying we're transitioning from one type of thing to another. Right? So let's see how this works in practice. There are basically 4 kinds of ways that you can format dialogue in the most basic sense. All right? So first we have tag and then spoken words. Who wants to read the sentence?
We both like cookies, she said.
All right. Can you tell me what's capitalized here?
Me.
Right.
W.
So that's both the beginning of our sentence and that is our spoken word. Now, if you look, she said is not capitalized because the spoken word gets priority, and the tag is not starting the sentence in this case. If you look, we have our comma here, right? And that is inside of the quotation mark. That's where it's supposed to be. And it separates the spoken word from our tag. So pretty similar. We have next spoken word and then tag. Who wants to read that sentence? I know it's a hard one, but
She said big biscuit.
all right. Can you tell me about the capitalization in that one?
That's the accent.
All right. So in this one, both the tag and the spoken word are capitalized. Why is that? Because the tag is starting the sentence, and our spoken word gets priority, so it always gets capitalized. And once again, we got that little border comma. Okay. Next, we have a little bit of a more complicated one. Spoken word, tag, and spoken word all in a single sentence. Right? Let's read it.
I prefer pick, he argued, because it has icing.
All right. Can you tell me about the capitalization in this one?
The I at the very beginning and the B and because.
All right. So if we look, our I is capitalized. The beginning of our sentence is the spoken word, so of course it's going to be capitalized. But our B in because is not capitalized. Does anybody know why that is?
Because they're continuing on, because you have the tag in the middle, so he's still saying the sentence, but they're telling you that he's arguing.
Right, right. So if we were to remove the tag, he argued, it would just be, I prefer cake because it has icing. One sentence, right? So we treat it like it would be one sentence. And we have two commas here, a border between each of the three sections. All right, and last one, spoken word, tag, and then more spoken word for multiple sentences. Who wants to go with that one?
Let's have dinner first, said the mom. Then we can think about dessert.
All right, can you tell me about the capitalization here?
It has it, since it's like both, there's two different sentences kind of, and it's just how she first starts the phrase, and then she pauses for a second, and then she continues.
Right. So we have really two separate sentences that are brought together here. So we have let's capitalize because it's starting the sentence and it's spoken word. And we have then capitalize because it is a brand new sentence, right? If we look at the commas, we have our border comma here, but then here we have something a little bit different. We have a period. Does anybody know what that is? It's not that complicated. It makes a lot of sense. Where do periods go? Right, at the end of sentences. So this shows that it is a new sentence that we're going into, right? Okay. I am going to, sorry. I'm going to give you a little poll now, just to see where we all are. Okay. All right, so for a few of you still don't have an answer. Okay. So it looks like the majority of you said that you're really confident about this and you don't have any questions. We do have a few, it looks like we have a few questions.
I didn't get to answer the question.
Okay. So what would you have answered?
Probably 75.
Alright. So since we have a few questions, does anybody want to ask anything before we go on to our actual activity where we practice it?
Alright, I'm on.
Can you go back a few slides? I didn't get everything down.
We can go back at the end, right? So we're going to do something kind of interesting here. Do you see draw it on your screen? Okay. So the way that this works is you're going to have a sentence on your screen, and then when I turn it on, you're going to draw on the correct punctuation, all right? So that's quotation marks, commas, periods, capitalization. Does everybody know what to do to show that you need to capitalize something? We write 3 lines underneath it, all right? That's how I want you to show that a word needs to be capitalized, a letter needs to be capitalized, okay? All right, try this out.
This is terrible.
If you're having a little bit of trouble with the actual digital part of this, the writing, it's your first one, I get it. It's totally fine. Pretty cool.
I didn't get to do what I was supposed to do. I didn't know what we were supposed to do.
It's alright.
Can I do that again? I don't want to have to be shameful of what I just did.
Don't worry, this is the first one. I'm not worried about it. This is just so we can figure out how to do everything, right? I'm sure you'll do better.
This is just for practice, Hunter.
This is
And
just for us.
I thought we were supposed to draw the sentence, not.
Oh, let me see.
Thought we were supposed to draw something of the sentence, not.
That's fine. Yeah, well, now we know, right? We can do better. All right. So it looks like a lot of you
told I
got
have
this
to do
correct.
punctuation
Great
and
job.
stuff like that. I know what I'm supposed to do.
So what we're looking for is we need our quotation marks around the quotation word. Capitalize beginning of the sentence, the, a comma here inside the quotation marks, and a period at the end. Is anybody confused about why this is what we need to do? No? All right, let's go on to something a little bit trickier.
I get the feeling it's not.
Oh, great.
For some reason, there's a 1 second delay on my Chromebook, and I don't know why. So, but mine's falling kind of.
I'm sorry if the time is a little bit short. I wasn't sure how long this would take you.
Okay, yeah, so if you don't get completely finished, not a big deal.
Right, yeah. This is just an assessment. It's not for a grade or anything. All right. didn't get all the way finished, we're on the right track. All right, I'm seeing a lot of good answers here. And some smiley faces. I'm not sure if those are necessary.
Very necessary.
All right, so this is what we're looking for. We have beginning capitalized because it's the beginning of the sentence. You always capitalize that. Our comma to act as our border wall. And then our quotation marks. U is capitalized. Can anybody explain why that is?
It's the first word of the sentence that the coach is saying.
Right, because it's the beginning of our spoken word. Good job. And then of course we have our little period to end everything off inside the quotation mark. You guys ready for the next one?
Oh, I think I'm
Yeah,
ready.
man. So fun. So ready.
I think I'm really ready for the next one. Mine's not starting.
You can't order honey.
No, mine just isn't starting. That's not the navigator's fault. It's because it doesn't want to start.
If you don't, if anyone doesn't get finished.
My practicum teacher today. I have this Nearpod that is cool. What is it? Nearpod?
Who drew an Among Us?
It's really good. They're doing that. They're punctuating
But I
passages
know
live.
the answer to
It's like
it.
Kahoot, but it's more academic
Like
based.
Very
Yeah,
obvious.
like they're drawing on their
I know.
computers and
Somebody drew a picture. Here's the problem though. We need to learn right now. So if we
I
have
already
a
know
problem
what I'm
with people
doing.
drawing pictures,
Hunter.
we're gonna have to skip past this activity. Okay? And we're not gonna be able to do the drawing anymore. Okay? So looking at the grammar, it looks like everybody did pretty well. Alright? This is a little bit of a harder one, right?
Oh, don't worry. I know.
The one that talks right now. The real loud one.
Okay. So we start with our quotation marks for the first part of the spoken word. And then we have another section over here with also the quotation, right? Can somebody explain why this is capitalized? Right. It's the beginning of everything. It's the sentence and the beginning. Can somebody explain why but is not capitalized? Right. And then we have two commas here, our little borders, and we end with the period.
They didn't give us that until almost when we got there. Yeah. And then just the times. And then we can look up. That's all.
Alright, this is the last one, okay? And just remember, I want to do fun activities like this so that we can learn. But if people are abusing it by just drawing instead of doing actual work, then I'm not going to do it. I don't think we're doing it.
That's why I said there are a lot of extras. That's why I said I wanted them for you and I.
There's no more 2x. There's only one 2x.
I'm XL. So.
Oh, okay. Well, that's insane. I don't want to pay for all that. All those extra
I don't either, but why did they double the order?
I don't know. I'm going to ask Stephanie.
That's why I was that.
Oh, I know.
I'm just gonna get
I'm more frustrated about the fact that it's like, when you said rapid fire,
yeah, everyone was just like, oh my god. And like, it just like double time the moment you left. It
Oh,
double
are you
time.
done with it?
And then Connor said there were
Oh, wait. Oh, yeah. Hold on. I got the period in. Let's go!
Okay, so it looks like the last
Robin started
caught
crying.
that
She feels like
this
she's
one
sad
needs a
everybody.
question mark, right?
Yeah.
Oh no!
Every night.
I didn't even realize that.
And
Alright, so whenever you have
so
a
I told her,
question,
I said, come from,
you have
you
a
can
question
clean the
mark,
closet. She was
and a
like,
lot of
really?
you
And I was like,
were
yeah.
really smart and figured out that that takes the place
Anytime
of the
I start
comma,
anytime.
right? So it also goes inside our quotation marks. Yeah.
Would that be the same thing with an exclamation point?
Yes, it would. Alright. So now we're gonna move on to something a little bit different. Up until now, we've been talking about the how of dialogue, how we evaluate it, how we say it. So now we're gonna talk about why of dialogue, the purpose of dialogue, and how to create the best dialogue that we can.
Just put
Right.
them somewhere there and get them out of the way.
So, big thing to remember, authors always want to create meaningful dialogue. Alright? So what makes dialogue meaningful? I'm sorry that the picture's hard covering that. That's my mistake. But dialogue is meaningful if it does one of three things. Alright? It can convey plot information. So one character telling another character about, oh no, the villain is coming. That's something that the reader needs to know.
Okay. Well, I've gotten most of the shirts
Number
given
two,
out except for
it
Pam
can
because
show
she's not
something
here
about the
today.
person who said it.
And we have extra
Does
pink
anybody
shirts too.
remember what I
I
talked
don't know
about
if I
when I
told
was
you.
here?
Oh yeah, I'm not doing anything.
Point of view. And when I taught that point of view lesson, one of the ways that I talked about that an author can communicate point of view is through dialogue.
The
So
info's been
it's all
turned in.
coming together.
And
And
then
the
I had to
last
stay on
thing
my Venmo.
is
They don't
if
Venmo
it
me.
develops the
And then
world
I
of
have my
setting,
cash they pay me.
it helps you
I'm gonna give that to
visualize
Danita.
the world, better
Wherever we
understand how
we
the
end
world
up, I mean, I don't
functions.
know. Because some
And
people
if
paid
you
extra.
notice
Some
something
people
common
didn't.
about all of
So
these, it's
so
that
we'll see. I'll just keep
all
going
of them
after
make the
right now.
story
This is
more
almost
interesting.
$115.
Alright? We don't want to waste dialogue on Sally said, hi.
She said, I'll get it paid.
I said,
I don't say
hi.
today.
How are you today? said Sally. Okay, I said. That's not
So
very
I'm gonna
interesting,
ask Stephanie about these
right?
parts because
We want to do
look at that invoice.
really
I didn't look at it.
meaningful dialogue that
See what
just
she
one
said.
of these. Alright, does that make sense?
What drama club account is looking like right now? I'll go back down there and ask her. You might wait until after I make my deposit. I'll be doing that tomorrow.
Alright. So some really basic ways to improve your dialogue. One is figuring out what tag you should use. Alright? Now there are a lot of different opinions on using said in dialogue. Alright? This is just mine. You may eventually come across a teacher that has a different one. But this is my perspective. Alright. If you want to keep all of the attention on your spoken words, you use said. Alright? Said is so commonly used in English, writing especially, that the reader just kind of glosses over it. They ignore it, it gets the point across. Alright? It'll just fade into the background. If you want to draw the attention to the speaker, then you describe how the speaker is speaking. Alright? Can anybody think of a few examples to fill in your blanks of words that you can use besides said?
Like just plain said or like can I include emotion?
You could do something that comments about the volume, how they're saying it.
You could say they exclaim.
Right, that's a good one. Explain. Yeah.
Remark.
Remarked, that's a good one. That one is very similar to said, but because it's slightly different, it draws a little bit of attention, you know?
Scream.
Screamed, that's a big one. That says a lot about how the dialogue is being said. Okay? Any other ones?
Reply.
Replied, right? Anyone else? All right, you could have shouted, whispered, joked. Either you can get really creative with it. You just remember, think about where you want the priority, and that'll help guide you. Okay? And then the next big question is, where should I put the tag? So with our opening area, the draw activity, we saw that you can put the tag in a lot of different locations, right? So how do you figure out which one will work best? If you, in writing the assumed